All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. Please allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nothing like having it. Okay, consideration of changes and or additions to the agenda. I do have an addition down in new business. It's to talk about the road sign policy or the creation of one. Then in the reports, adding on to the highway, the Beaver Meadows culvert repair, going to add Shunpike in Healdville Road. Is there any other? Okay, approval of the July 16th and July 30th minutes. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the July 16th and July 30th minutes as written.
I'll second it. The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on down to reports. Highway and Transfer Station, Clinton.
The winter sand, Casella's called me last Thursday and wanted to deliver sand. And I said, yeah, go ahead. And I guess, I don't know, for some reason they're not doing it because they can't get their trucks in there. So I don't know what's going on with it. So I don't know. I've only got messages from the guys up there about it. So I don't know if they're, well, I don't know what's going on. The Shunpike culvert is scheduled for next week. I believe Wednesday. So I'll let you know so we can put a news flash out because the road will be closed for probably 2 days. So. Healdville, I marked Healdville. I don't know if Dig Safe's been over there yet. I haven't had a chance to get over there because I had a culvert fail. We did have quite a few washouts, not severe washouts, but a lot of trenches in the roads and stuff that we've been trying to repair too this week. The transfer station, I guess Hubbard's came, picked up all the steel like we talked about last meeting. They did drop the container, but I guess there's a conflict of Hubbard's having the container there, I guess, or something. I have no idea.
No, it was just that you guys signed in December the contract with Casella to do the scrap, and I think it just got missed wire because Hubbard was supposed to. Casella said that they would do the scrap, and that's what they put in their contract. And I don't know if you guys remember that they had said they would bring a 30-yard.
Yes.
To put the scrap
to make
in.
room for it.
But back then, this was in like either the November or December meeting, you guys had said, well, why don't we wait until the spring when it warms up so that the last scrap can be removed by Hubbard. And then once it's clear, we can call Casella to drop off a container. And Casella's not concerned. And when you had said they were going to drop off a container, I thought you meant Casella. I was like, okay. Like I figured
Yeah, no,
it was just that time.
Because Hubbard cleaned it all up, so I figured,
Yeah.
why not let him just keep taking it? 'Cause
So technically it's in the Casella contract. If you guys want to renegotiate that, I'm sure we could ask Casella. I doubt they care hugely one way or another. The reason you went with Casella, just to remind you guys, is that they would give us 75% of the value of the scrap once
Right.
they sold it. And giving sample amounts and market prices, they thought it would come out maybe $30-40 a month to us. Once they, once we paid for the container rental and the hauling, they thought the scrap would more or less even out.
Yep.
Whereas Hubbard's just sells the scrap,
And we get
Right.
no reimbursement.
and you don't get a reimbursement. So
And-
I don't think it's a huge difference between the two, but that's
It's
why
not,
you
but,
guys had.
What are we gonna do with the tires?
Casella will take the tires too. And they do charge less. They charge less than Hubbard. Hubbard charges $250 and Casella charges $200 a ton. Again, not a huge difference, but that's the
20, yeah,
difference. Yeah.
12 cents a pound, right?
I think, and then, I think the other thing too was like for years we were dealing with white
Not
goods
if they're
that
getting the
had
scrap.
refrigerant in it.
Right.
And
Oh yeah.
I just like when we were talking about it one day that we're not supposed to take, which not saying that we are, but I think 4 years ago we might have had stuff where Hubbard's was
Right.
taking care of that, and that was kind of one of the positives to them.
Right.
There was a lot of, he said he had one dumpster full of just refrigerators.
So we might have to make more of an education.
But that's been there since,
yeah,
Maybe
it's kind of a
before,
carryover.
yeah.
so,
Yeah, Ken and Kevin are supposed to say no refrigerators, air conditioners, or dehumidifiers. Whether they're able to enforce it down there, I'm not sure. Even their best efforts might be difficult since people don't have to really stop in front of them.
'Cause if
It
we
does
take-
say
if
it
we-
on the signage, but we might have to, yeah. We can get fined if we take them because we don't have Freon processing
Right.
in place. So,
We gotta make sure Ken and Kevin are monitoring that as well.
I know one idea was to move it closer. I don't know if that's
That's
practical or not,
That's
but
kind of what the intent of the dumpster was,
to move it closer.
going where it was.
yeah, going where it is now.
Or is, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if we want, I'll just call and have Tim come pick that up and see if Hubbard's will
Yeah,
drop
this-
one off or.
In Casella's contract, they are not taking any refrigerators.
Casella will,
There'd be an extra cost. I mean, I
Right.
they'll take them, but
Yeah.
it has to have
It's a
the
charge.
Freon removed.
Yeah, we don't do
Well,
that.
it's not a charge, but they can only take it with no refrigerant left in it.
Right.
And we don't have anyone
system to do that.
trained to
Yes,
do
right.
it. So Casella would take it. If we said, here's the white goods that with the Freon removed, they would take it.
Right.
But
So,
we don't have that.
we don't have it,
Yeah.
so.
we also think have like an enforcement.
Yeah, we don't have an.
Because we don't
yeah.
want.
Right.
There could be conflict down there with the attendants and people not listening, and I think
Right.
the current kind of instruction they've gotten from us is like, don't get necessarily in a heated
Correct.
conflict.
So we need to make sure we post that out,
Mhm.
not only at the dump, but probably the news flash and
Okay,
the chit
yeah.
chat and wherever else that the dump does not take, refrigerators, air conditioners, coolers that have Freon.
Or
Exactly.
they've been putting
And
the
dehumidifiers.
dehumidifiers in the electronics.
So,
Yeah.
and that's a no-no. So we need to get that posted out, and we'll have to have Kevin and
Ken.
I know Ken, but
They do know. I mean, whether they can catch everybody, I think is.
Yeah, when it's peak
I
time,
think it's
Right.
hard.
9-10 o'clock in the morning, it's
No, right.
chaos.
We'll
so
put it in those two
Not chaos,
places,
but-
and maybe we should just frame it as like if we can't have enforcement, then the transfer station won't be able to operate. Because that is
That and-
actually true.
that, and if we catch the individuals doing it, they'll no longer be able to use the transfer station. So
Well, that's gonna be tough, because the refrigerators don't go bad only once in every year.
I hear you. I hear you, but
Have you bought a refrigerator? They don't last that long.
They don't last
New one's about a year, yeah.
so, but you know, unfortunately, somewhere along the line, we've got to put the policy in place that
Yeah.
we can't do that because the
And
town
then-
is liable and we get fined for it.
Right, and then here comes the other option is to hopefully, if it's possible, hire another attendant to take care of that part
Maybe,
of
or
it.
we start going back to the option where
So I did call, left a message Monday with, what's the guy's?
Able.
Art?
Abel?
Is it Art?
Art, yep.
Just to follow up to your conversation, see if
Yeah.
he needed more info, like tonnages. So I haven't heard back from him, but I'll give him another call.
and we just contracted out and they come and set the containers up and the people pay
Yeah, we're just. that'll-
whoever the contractor is at that point in time and the town is,
It definitely would help our budget.
it would definitely help the budget.
Diana and I
Well-
did go through all their pricing and
It's gonna be right around $130,000.
For somebody to do it,
Yeah,
they come and set the dumpster and the people pay their fee. So it shouldn't come out of the town.
but we don't have the volume, so it would be X amount of dollars.
Scratch that then.
You'll have to find
Is
out.
that what somebody had told you?
Mhm.
Hmm.
but it's hard to believe that like Heartland has the volume or Bridgewater.
I
even.
think Heartland does, but
Bridgewater
Bridgewater or
pays-
Plymouth.
Bridgewater pays our,
Oh.
Yes.
They take it on Gleason Road in Rutland?
They will, yeah.
And that's what you do is send people there.
And if we keep having violations, we've already been told once the state will shut us down. So it may not be an option.
With a hefty fine.
With a hefty fine. So
It does look a lot better down there with the metal in a container.
it does.
It looks better.
I guess we gotta make the decision on where the metal's gonna go.
Yeah.
But under contract, it's gonna go to Casella. So, and we did sign that contract.
We
so-
did.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
So Hubbard will have to come grab their container with whatever's in it. And we'll have to get Casella to bring a container. But we also might need to make sure we get that in the news flash that no refrigerant products of any kind can go to the transfer station. They'll have to take it to Gleason or take it directly to Hubbard's or wherever.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right place to ask, but you mentioned Hillville Road. What's the scope of the work on Hillville and what's happening there?
waiting for dig safe before I can start doing it.
So we're on track to fix all the stuff on there from
Yeah.
top
Yep.
down,
Yeah, from Flanders down through.
Is that culvert by Whalen's that crapped out above the White House by the track? Well, there's one that looks like it dies. Okay,
I'll take a look at
It's
it,
been
but
like
that's
that for
brand
quite a
new.
while.
it
I
just.
think that's from part of the slide.
Oh, it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
So it could have washed the dirt out from under the culvert and the road is
Well, no, it was above the culvert, or the slide was
below it.
below the culvert, so.
Is it within the guardrail? What is it? A culvert that's within?
It's just
that?
above. It's just above. But just take a look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a. Yeah, I look at it.
Because it comes off the meadow and all the water runs through
Oh.
that culvert and dumps where the slide is.
Yeah. Yeah, that outfall is steep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
is that in front of me? Yeah, I don't.
Yep.
I saw it today. I don't know, what's up with the dust control? I just.
Oh, that was something I was looking into. I noticed that when, after the road has been raided and we haven't gotten any rain for like a week or so, tons of dust kind of floats right through my open windows. So,
Yeah,
and I know everybody else is seeing the same thing, and then after we got that little bit of rain, it really, really helped. So I was thinking about some kind of a dust collection or collection, spritzer thing,
I can,
like we used to do years ago.
well, yeah, because years ago you could get just a half a truckload and do the main route, but now you have to buy a whole truckload. And
It's costly.
it's costly.
Well, that's why I went and found this one particular company,
Innovation.
for information, so. And one for you, Bobby. But you have
We've
to,
talked to Innovation before.
well, this isn't innovation, this is got a place out of New York. And this one is gonna be $12,000 by the time we get done with tax and everything. And it is just, it's 935 gallons. And we could go smaller probably on the tank part. And then I was wondering if there was some way that we could make up our own.
But you can mix chloride with it,
You can
put
mix
a
chloride
spreader
with
bar in
water,
the back,
but
and just
it
run
doesn't.
and use that. It's only gonna last for a while.
Innovations, you can rent the equipment. And I'm not sure the price of it, but they bring in like a 4,000 gallon tank, put it there, and then.
Well, that's the
you rent
problem.
Sprayer and everything else.
A 1,000 gallon and more, you guys can't run the operate it without a license or a special license.
Wow.
Only Bob, because he has a tanker license. Whereas the other two of you, it has to be under 1,000 gallons.
Why is that?
It's state law.
Alright.
So that's why I was looking at something that was under 1,000 gallons so that all you guys could operate it. And
I don't know. I'd have to check into it, but I mean, I know Shrewsbury's got a 2,000 gallon tank on the back of their dump truck and they're spraying. But I don't know, but anyhow, the chloride's hard to get this time of year because it's more of a winter product. So the valleys usually don't have any.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. It's
Yeah, I
not
know.
something I'm not saying we're gonna have to buy today, tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just an idea that I thought we could look into.
We can look into it.
I'll tell you what, I got a 750 gallon sap tank, poly. That's got a small crack, I'll have welded in it and I'll donate the tank and we can build our own spreader bar. Cause I think 12,000 is a lot of money, which we don't even have in the
Well,
budget.
exactly.
So I'd be willing to donate the tank.
That would be
One of
huge.
them pumps you have upstairs.
There you go. Any stainless steel pipe?
I'll do whatever's needed to help out Bowman.
Maybe a Harbor Freight pump.
Right.
I know that Chad looked up nozzles and they run from $10 to $15 each.
Yeah.
So they're not really that expensive. And he mentioned something about using PVC and
Yeah. You can buy a pump to spray it. Or
this one here has a nice little Honda pump on it. That's why Honda's a good brand.
it's only Yamaha.
That was just a wish list,
Just
okay?
What are you saying? Is that because I got 4 of them?
I heard you'd do anything.
I said I would help anyway, but I didn't say it would be one of my Yamaha pumps.
I mean, yeah.
So,
I mean, we did quite a bit with just the 225 tank, but
Well,
we had even a 500 gallon would be.
I got that it's a 725.
well, the other portion of this is to help with the pump and everything, would be able to help clean out the culverts without having to borrow from the fire department.
I don't think that 2-inch
They
pump
would-
that they have here will do that.
No.
There's
So-
nothing.
Well, that was the other thought, that at least it maybe could help do some of that.
Pressure, not the volume.
You need the pressure. Yeah.
So.
So, And then another thought was maybe to help pre-treat winter roads, blacktop.
With Brian?
The salt brine.
I think you'll probably be forced to it in 5-10 years. And there's a savings. But it's all stuff to talk about. I mean, if we don't start looking in, it's not something like you said that we would do next year.
I'll call Valley and just get a price on a skid of chloride.
Even if you just had like a homemade solution that you could, when there was an issue. I mean, I know that it's like the last thing, timing wise right now, but maybe there's a point in the fall or something.
I mean, Jeff used to just buzz around and scrape the roads and have them come and put out the half a load.
Yeah,
But
for a day or so.
I mean, it's not, the weather just ain't like it used to be. And
I know, sometimes you have rain every blooming day, and then sometimes you don't have any for.
You could probably drill a
week.
spreader bar with 1/8-inch holes.
yeah, that's what we had on the other one,
And
but
just,
Oh yeah, you can.
they thought it was junk, so they broke it.
A's and T's.
Yeah.
I think if you just started on a small scale, hey, this is working out great, then you upsize it.
Anyhow, that's all I got.
It's just
How
a wish
about
list, guys.
Beaver
Just a
Meadow
wish list.
Culvert.
I got to write an RFP for engineering. I talked to an engineer yesterday or the day before, so I just got to sit down. I have the template and change the names on it from Summit to there, and then at the same time do the one on Sawyer Hill because we got that grant. So all in my court.
Chad was saying the other night when we got that heavy rain here, I guess that
Is it halfway or something?
that culvert up above, that,
The one is that the one that caused the washout?
yeah.
Okay.
He said that one was like right up to the top and wasn't taking the water that was coming down through.
It went
He
up.
said it was.
And then the one
He
that
said it was within inches of going
yeah, well, it
back
makes.
down the road again.
I wonder if there's something above it changed. I don't know what's above it, but like above that stream, you know.
Well, when Velco put all
That's what
them,
I was kind of wondering.
put all that road in
And
across
they
there,
sent water a different way.
all the water is not running through the grass like it used to.
Yeah,
It's
channel
just-
it.
You know, it's all in brooks now down through there. So
We did, because this is one of the projects that we haven't proceeded with for FEMA coverage from last summer. They are offering mitigation, and I said, which we can add additional pieces to help shore that up, that they will cover the costs of, so to improve upon what was there and upsize it as proposed and all those. So it's, if there's additional things when we talk to the engineer that need to happen, that we should include those. So I did those up and then I provide that to FEMA and they can hopefully pay for all of the mitigation is what they've offered.
I wonder if we should just send, you normally request hydraulic studies, just in parallel to what you're saying, see if they can do a hydraulic study on that one.
well, it would be probably, wouldn't it be the same? Because it's the same brook as,
I mean, they're all probably about the same
because
diameters.
it's the same brook where
Yeah.
that box culvert's going in.
If we wanted it to go through FEMA, it would definitely require the study.
Yeah. You usually you talk to Sanderson.
Yeah, I can.
Pick his brain and see what he says.
Yeah.
Say there's a culvert that's never been an issue, but in the
Well,
past couple of years it's starting to become more of an issue.
Yeah.
Because we're replacing the one below it that isn't having, that grant we got is for the one below it, which
Right.
hasn't really
Right.
posed an issue.
No, because when it does overflow, it just goes.
Just spreads out.
It spreads out across the road, so it doesn't really.
Velocity is not. Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more water runoff too down by Stevens's on Shunpike Road, the way they ditched the new building right to the road.
Right there at that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
ditched it right to the road.
Yeah, I haven't been in there.
There already is more.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a whole lot more water because all the trees are gone and all that around that new garage is all gonna run right through there.
So we'll add it to the FEMA list and see what you get with Brian in terms of
Yeah.
the sizing.
Did you guys need to make a decision on the winter sand? Does Casella just
That's
need
it.
more room because they're bringing a bigger truck in, Bobby? Is that what they? I think that's what Chad said the message was.
I don't know, I wasn't here, and, I mean, I know he was talking about the trailer trucks, so I thought it was a big enough slab, but I guess they tipped a couple over in the past few weeks, and so they don't wanna back up onto the sand pile, so.
They don't have smaller trucks?
I do. I mean, you can ask them about that and just tell them
I
like,
don't
tell
know,
them it can't happen.
It's different kind of sand too, though,
It's
right?
different. So,
Can it be mixed, or is it and it's supposed to be in its own?
no, I mean, it can be mixed but to put
Do you want
3,000
to? Do you want to mix it, or do you want
3,000
to?
ton up there, you're,
Does it defeat the purpose of getting the manufactured sand if you mix it? Because then presumably it's.
no, cause it's gonna be mixed anyhow.
I see. Okay. I was just thinking, like, if we need to hold Casella off until they can have more room, does that affect the?
Well, they're not gonna have enough room,
Okay,
that's the,
Yeah,
that's
they
the
gotta
problem.
go up on the
that's
hill.
the, because it's not flat. They need a flat surface to dump their trailers. And I guess all the dump trucks are up north, so I don't know. But,
Can you use what you have first and then use the have them?
no, I'm not getting sand in the middle of winter,
No. Oh. There's not enough to get you through the whole winter.
no,
Oh, I see.
no way.
I see.
No.
I just call them and tell them like trailers aren't going to work and go from
Well,
there.
he knows, cause like, I guess he came up on Friday or Thursday, whatever day it was, and said it wasn't gonna work,
Yeah.
so. I don't know.
Yeah, just tell them.
Don't have to use trucks. If they have them.
Or at least
They're
until the
putting
other
two brand
ones
new
work.
ones together right now in their garage.
They've been doing that for 8 weeks.
I know.
Or maybe just for the first few ones, while there's not enough room. And then once it's clear
Yeah.
away, then it's.
There's never be enough room,
No.
because we always have
I see.
Leftover sand.
leftover sand.
I see.
and-
I see.
Well, let's reach out and see if they can use
Yeah, I'll
trucks.
see what they can
Because
do.
we didn't specify one or the other, so it's not like they can. They made an assumption that
Right.
tell them it.
Mark, I'm trying to guess follow up, whatever happened to the culvert on Lake Street at the base of the lake?
Gotta get an engineer.
It's still doing the engineering study? Oh, okay.
No actions happened.
Yeah.
Not yet.
It needs to be replaced, identified as that.
Yep.
But
Alright.
I think what it
It
didn't meet.
didn't fall under FEMA require, I would have to, there was a
Okay.
cost benefit in it, I mean, cause it goes under the house, it's not, the homeowner would have to be on board with
Yeah.
it was a way bigger,
Yeah. So I've
Pretty big work
I've
scope.
talked to that homeowner and it was
right, and it was a no, and that's,
it was a no.
that was that, as far as FEMA.
We're gonna try talking to her. It's been a
The project
year.
from last summer was concerned. It is definitely too
Miriam
late.
said no?
Yeah, I have talked to her. I have her number and everything. I can reach back out. What's that?
What was the problem? I mean, where the.
She was like,
culvert
she
goes
didn't
under the
wanna-
porch?
It goes under a port. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just like geometry wise no room to do what needs to be done without affecting her property or her house. I wouldn't even say her property, her
Well,
house.
flooding's gonna have.
And the house, there's
Flooding's gonna do more to her property than correcting.
yeah, and I like the tact I kind of took was talk to her and then come back to her. So it's been probably 6 months because I talked to her in like December or January, and she kind of just said check back in with me because we were doing some buyout paperwork for somebody else. So it's probably about right time to just touch base with her and see where her head is at. But we gotta find the funding source too. And there's a pile engineering because it's not just that house; it's the other house across the street. Was it 1867
Right.
house too that would have to be on board? Not necessarily losing their house, but we'd be digging right up to it. It's not going to be an easy one.
Oh,
No.
the new truck is here. They're just waiting on the dump body and the plow frame and the plow for it.
They give an estimate. Spring.
They're got
Spring.
all ordered and they haven't seen any,
Spring.
so.
All right. Okay, moving treasurer's report. Liz?
Well, now that we talked about what feels like spending lots of money, I'm feeling excited about this report. We have started to collect some FEMA funds, which is nice. The cash is actually coming slowly back in from a lot of the expenses that went out last summer and through the fall. But it is slow, and there's a backlog now with further damage in Vermont up north. So it's that any additional storm anywhere in the country really just adds to the workload of FEMA. So it's hit or miss on timing with things, but it's happening. Finally, cash is in the bank. And tax bills did go out, so it's not really reflected here in July as far as cash coming in, but in the beginning of August, it has been a good steady flow so far, so you'll see that reported next month. You do see, this is the new fiscal year we're looking at, July 1st, is on the balance sheet just down to property taxes receivable. That's our big billed number for the year. It's about 2/3 down the page. And you'll watch that decrease as the money comes in, so. To be continued next month, one we keep an eye on of how steady payments are. And just flipping into the profit and loss, again, you see the taxes billed are recorded there, so this is our big revenue month from an accounting standpoint, and then we wait and watch the cash again. We did receive, because of the flooding this July, the state issued our state aid for the roads normally comes in 4 quarterly payments. They issued it all very promptly last year between July and August to help towns. They did the same this year, and even though our town wasn't greatly impacted, we received the same timing of payments as everybody else. So we received 3 of those payments in July. The 4th one came shortly into August. So all of our annual state aid has been received. Then you'll see just solid waste labels are off to a good start. And under grant receipts, you see FEMA DR 4720. That's the actual. If it shows up here under income, it means FEMA has approved a number and it's obligated funding. So we will be receiving the cash after it flows through the federal government and the state down to us. Those are the big items so far. And then we did pay our first payment on the loader that was purchased last year. So there's a loader note payment in of $32,000 and some change. Summer road, labor, materials, ongoing. And we did make in July our first loan payment, the municipal flood loan that we received from the Vermont Bond Bank for $100,000. Because we received FEMA monies, we have a schedule to pay them back. So we've now paid back $50,000 of $100,000 to them. That's the minimum payment then, by the way. So we will only have 2 payments, and it will be within the next month or so. That'll be gone and done with. We were one of those smaller loans issued under that program. So that's the summary for July with exciting points. Just a note on August, we are up about $500,000 in cash in the first 2 weeks of August from the end of July. So it's, as I mentioned, tax payments coming in. The other thing I wanted to just mention is that the law changed regarding tax sales back in May. So you'll note we still have delinquencies on the books and there are no tax sales scheduled. That's to be continued. I'm not gonna get into that any further, but that's a big shift. And then, I don't know if the select board wants to address it now, I was asked about, kind of how we provisioned all of our ARPA funds last year for general provision to help pay with flooding. That carried us through the year without having to take additional loans out to cover costs. There was a question on the paving bid that came in, and there was, kind of requesting more information on where we're at with just overall flooding expenses, where that general provision of ARPA funds went, how that's going. So I've given you all a little chart.
I believe right now we approved the existing original bid and not the additional.
Yeah, sure. And that's,
You said GMP came in last week and said they were talking about underbearing power. So maybe the timing is,
Good for us.
or
We're not
do we want to wait until, I guess, I don't know. Did you hear about that? GMP came in
They're gonna
Asking.
contact you.
about burying power at Shunpike. I think we saw something on it like a while ago.
That's on the dirt road.
Is on the dirt road segment. Okay.
Yeah, it's in front of, well, I see.
No, GMP wants to bury their overhead electrical line.
Down the road.
Down in the road. They said that they're gonna bury it about 4 feet down. And they're gonna go through the road.
Or,
The guy is gonna contact you. He stopped in here looking for you last week. And he's gonna contact you. I don't know if he left a message for you or not,
They
but
want to do away with the poles all the way down through there and go
Right.
underground.
Is that by the movie stars? 2130?
no, I think they wanna do the whole
All the
road.
way
Yeah,
to,
he was pushing to get his done, I know that.
they're talking about going all the way down through, so.
So we might very well be pushed into. I guess we need to just further discuss that because we
Right.
don't want to pave if they're gonna.
No,
the
we don't
next
want to pave.
2
then-
years, even the
then-
next 3 years if they're gonna do anything.
Then dig it up, we don't want that. So we need to find out from Green Mountain Power if they're gonna truly go down through the Tara Road. Because there's no sense in spending,
Even if they
100K,
cross, even if
right.
they cross a few spots,
Right.
there's still be disruption.
yeah, and the main takeaway from like where we're at with FEMA and last year's year-ending deficit, even with all those additional ARPA funds that helped buoy us, we don't know how much that, as we talked about, that project at Beaver Meadow, we're still getting engineering, we have to pay for that and then we get reimbursed, so we need cash on hand. There's some flex for sure, but it's as we proceed, we'll get more.
well, we got another year before it has to go out anyways, right?
What's that?
ARPA funding, 25 or 6?
We assigned it for general provision last year, so it's
So we're
already,
clean then.
it's no longer ARPA funds, it's part of our general fund. If we had
Okay.
money in the general fund to spend. That's the timing.
You should
issue.
have it put in a set-aside fund instead of calling it general.
Correct, that's where I was at.
I think as soon as you put it into set aside, it probably starts
Well, you'll see
getting a
when,
little gray in terms of.
some towns have a rainy day reserve they
Yeah.
call it, or you'll know, I mentioned, I made a little asterisk on my spreadsheet, I've often, a general fund operating surplus, you do our audit, it's written that you want 3 months of operating surplus, just as your standing surplus to make sure you can make it through, but that's a practice, not necessarily what every town does, or every organization. It's
Right, because I'm
What
afraid if
we
you
have tried, what we have done.
put
in
it
the
right
past.
into the general fund, then all of a sudden, oh, we got all kinds of money, let's, no way.
Well, we've done that in the past. That's why we had the money for flooding. So it's,
So,
that has been the practice of Mount Holly, is that just has been a surplus in the general fund as needed.
Well, if we table the paving, just to circle back to that, if we table the paving to next month till we can hear back from GMP, it's probably too late at that point to pave.
Should we reach out to, was
Yeah.
Fuller, right?
Fuller, yeah, and see
Yeah.
if he's not going to be able to commit to pulling that price because too much uncertainty in the next.
Right, so what we need to do
Well, he
is.
said it'd be in September,
Okay.
mid-September.
So we need to find out from GMP though, that way we don't,
So maybe we should just give him a heads up that
Yeah.
we're waiting
Yes.
to hear from Jim.
There might be
Yeah.
a wrinkle in our
Okay.
plan.
because we don't want him to plan it on his books and turn work away or potential work away.
Hmm.
If
Right.
Green Mountain Power is gonna dig that up.
Do you have a name? Did he leave a card or anything?
No, he didn't. He didn't, because he said he was contacting Bovee, to let him know. Because he wanted to walk with him through the
Yeah.
process, so.
Okay.
Because he said they were doing it down on the southern part.
But it sounds like adding that, paving the whole road in one fell swoop is not something we want to do at this point, dollar wise.
You could do it, it's hard to know with the Beaver Meadow project still on,
Right, so I would
a
say,
cost unknown on that.
I mean, we're not going to go to construction this year, Beaver Meadow.
Tom
Sure.
did say that if we didn't have it, that he would be willing to pave it, the whole thing, and hold off until fiscal year 2025
as an IOU,
as an IOU.
That's pretty good long term.
yeah, yeah.
But it still doesn't affect it if GMP's working there, right?
Well, if they're gonna dig that, if they're gonna
If they
dig,
can't get in there.
There's like two
Yes.
separate decisions.
Yeah,
One, do we
two
pave
separate.
the whole thing? Two, can we pave the whole thing? That doesn't
Okay,
make sense.
okay. I'm just gonna
I mean,
update
if
him
the
about.
third one is we don't want to if GMP's gonna dig it up. It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be just throwing good money on bad.
But likely Tom's price would probably work on any town road.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Just like any other
GMP will
time.
pay for the paving.
Well, if they dig it up, they will.
Trench patch.
Yeah, but then it'll make it,
Well, we don't have to let that happen, though. That could be part of
Could be. Yeah.
the criteria for allowing them to go down the road. That you repave the road.
Overlay, yeah.
Okay. Any questions for Liz? Liz, thank you. Okay, Bill is not here, so I was told to cross that one off the list. Listers update, David?
Pretty short, we were able to get the grand list done in time this year, didn't have to ask for an extension. There were only 2 grievances, and neither of those went on to the Board of Civil Authority. So it's been 4 years since anybody's gone to the Board of Civil Authority, so hope that means we're doing something a little right. So during the day of grievance, because we only had 2, but we had to be here the whole day, we finished up the CAMA records with our lister card information, so those are done. And that's it. Now we got the tax bills printed. Let's see, because the state can't leave things alone, we had to have special programming to set up our tax bill. It didn't leave room for our discount information, so that was, we have a custom tax bill anyway, and so they had to work on it. And Nimerick, well, they got called back within half an hour of when they were notified and spent the next hour and a half serving us so we could begin printing bills right off, so. And after that, I wish everybody filed their homestead declaration on time, because we get 1 or 2 late filers every week that we have to do a revised bill for. So I'm sure Liz would appreciate everybody filing on time too.
I think they'd all feel better about it as well. Leads to a lot of questions.
Any questions for David or the listers?
When's the next reappraisal gonna be?
It'll start, July of 2026 and be ready for 2028.
Wow.
Change between now and
Anybody see the list that the state put out on percentages of tax increases? Some towns went up as high as 36%.
Horrible.
Okay, we'll move on to conservation update. Phil?
Well, let's start with the town recreation committee update. And I don't know much about this, but do we have any letters of interest?
2 letters of interest have come in from Carl Nome and David Martin. You guys have those. So only 2 so far.
Only 2, okay. And is this gonna, the other question is this gonna be a commission or a committee? I think there's a difference.
I think committee, but I think it's gotten written as commission a few places, but.
Because if it's a committee, it doesn't have to follow the open meeting laws, is that right? Not that we wouldn't think, it's just, I think it would be easier for them to operate.
Yeah,
And they could
non-
report through the Conservation Commission? What, I don't know how you would like to
Yeah, a
organize it.
committee of a commission is just a group of people working on a specific project, so it wouldn't be its own municipal body or
Yeah,
its own legislative body.
yeah.
Does a committee of a commission even need select board approval?
I don't
They're
think
just simply a group
No.
of people
It's a group of
discussing.
people
It
discussing it.
Yeah,
No,
Correct.
I mean,
think
a
we-
notification, hey, we're doing this.
yeah, I was
would
gonna
be
say, I
nice,
think just
but-
transparency, not
And I think
Well,
permission.
it would be nice to get some of that sort of straightened out. And the other question is, I know several people that might be likely candidates to be involved. And I think David Martin must also, because this was his initiative. And so maybe we should contact the felons that are,
Yeah, I can give you the
Interesting.
letters. I think if it's just a committee of the commission.
well, you guys have to decide that.
Well, it is, I mean, that's what you guys
That's
asked
what they asked for.
You asked for a committee.
That's what we asked for?
Yeah, I think it got like written a couple of different ways, but I think
Okay.
what you guys asked for is that there be a committee.
Yes,
And I think then that's at your discretion,
okay,
according to the bylaws of
yeah,
of the Conservation Commission.
yes, okay.
But the Conservation Commission does have to follow the open meeting laws.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're fully aware of it.
yeah.
So if you guys wanna form a committee, that's
Yeah.
on you guys.
Okay. All right, fine, then. And the next item is just to let you know that the ash borer program for 2024 is coming to an end within a week because the trees are getting ready for winter and they don't take up the stuff very well. For the same reason that we get sap early in the spring, the trees go to sleep. And we expect to provide a detailed report on how things went this year. I think we've probably done something like 500 injections or more. Paul Fraser, I don't know whether everybody knows Paul, he's been very effective and really handled this in a magnificent way. Then Jim Corbin asked me to bring up 2 questions related to the energy fund granting, the MERP money as it's referred to. And I think that this is really pro forma, but the granting agency would like to have the select board bless the following 2 things. One is energy audits for, and I think you have a letter from that on that regard. For the town offices, the Oddfellows Hall, the library, building, community center, and for the Perkins House Museum, those 4 places. And we get a $100 per site reduction in the cost if we do all 4. And the money's there, we have the money. So, and the other thing we would like to do is, there's sufficient remaining funds to purchase 2 infrared cameras, which we would essentially ask the library to loan them out to homeowners so they can do their own analysis of the heat leaks in their house. And so I think that's regarding the MERC funds, the Energy Fair grant, those are the 2 things which we not ask the select board to bless. And the next one was, there's Star Lake issues. And we seem to be making some progress in finding out what and how much we can do there. And so there are several new initiatives with, I would say, renewed vigor. And consultation with state and county offices, possible visits from various agencies, invasive species control, and of course we're awaiting the Arrowwood study results, which will give us some basis for approaching particular ways to enhance the recreational value of Star Lake area. And the final one is water quality determination. We haven't seen, and I don't know whether it's even available, the tests for water quality in the swimming area at Star Lake.
There was a test.
There was one, and I know he dropped another one off today,
Oh, okay.
so.
But you know, that's kind of important because people's kids are down there playing around.
And the first
You
one,
guys can definitely talk.
The first one was okay.
first one was okay, so we just
Yeah.
took the tact of if it was okay, not notifying.
Yeah.
So we can.
Sure, right. But
It's
not
not
really.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine, but it's nice, it would be nice to have public information on that because, people might.
Where would you want it to, because you guys have the information, so you could send it to the news flash.
Yeah, I suppose we could say
If
that.
you want to, you
Yeah,
know.
okay. I suppose Jim Corbin, he is listening
And I
in,
think
I
the
suppose
news-
he could do that.
Yeah, sure, anyone can just. send
Anyone
to the
can do
news
it,
flash.
sure enough, but if he's got the information, because I haven't seen it.
Okay, I think I might have left you off accidentally. I think I tried to send it to everyone on the Conservation Commission, but it was like 3 weeks ago or so.
Okay,
And I know he dropped another one off today.
okay.
So probably those results I would imagine would come in by maybe Monday, we would get them.
Okay. Good.
So I can
I
send
can send some. When we get them, I'll send a note to the news flash.
Okay, okay,
That
sure.
way it's not.
Okay, thank you.
It looks like Jim Corbin would like some kind of
Well, I think I mentioned that.
consideration on this letter that he.
That's what he was talking about, the energy audits.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are like you said, 4 buildings,
Yeah.
$300 a piece if you do 4.
400.
But a discount of you said
Well,
there was
normally they're fine,
oh no, it was $1,600.
yeah. And then 1,100 for the 2 cameras.
And you guys already have that
You have the
fund
money.
left. in
We have
the-
money, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a quite, I
What's
think the
the-
granting agency
Oh.
is asking that the select board is made aware of and does not object.
It's not costing the town.
Cause they got $4,000 grant
Right.
and then.
I think we had to do this,
Hmm?
I think we did the same thing when we had the tickets for the firemen's. We asked you, is this okay? And I can't imagine why it wouldn't have been, but
I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
If the money's been received, then
Yeah,
we
we
have
have
to.
to-
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah.
do
Cash
something
on
with it.
So,
Well, it sounds like a great idea.
yeah, no, I think it's a great idea, so.
Just a question, did the library agree to take the cameras? And
we
How to
haven't,
train 'em?
discussed it with the library, but I suspect they will. I have some influence with the library board.
yeah. Right, but, it's like, the instructions and how to use them.
Well, that's all right, we'll.
And is it positive influence you have?
So, providing you can influence the library, I think you have the board's blessing. Okay? All right, moving on. Any questions for the Conservation Commission? Okay. We discussed the recreation already. All right, new business, Cider Days liquor license.
Or special event permit.
Yeah, it's for the special, it's for the special function that Cider Days does. And I believe the location is in the same home that it was on 17 Church Street.
That's what I'm taking it to be at.
There is some questions because there's a bunch of different addresses on here. The business entity is Mount Holly Cider LLC. The address is 17 Church Street, Mount Holly. It's got the start date October 12 at 10 and end time is October 13. 1700 hours, so.
Says the village, says the grass yard on the north side of the village green. Really wish they'd attach.
Well,
He had a map last year.
He did.
That's the same spot.
Carol says there's something on the site that she couldn't print off.
Oh, okay.
I printed everything that the liquor control place would let me print
Oh,
off.
there is a map sketch. Yep.
Yeah.
Right there. It says-
But it wouldn't let me print
You
that
wouldn't let
off.
you print it?
No.
I believe it's the same as it was last year. And yes,
Is there anyone here that is to speak to this? Anyone who,
no, there is not.
okay.
And I know last year, because I'm at the event, it went very well. They did what was required of them. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary walking around. I'll be honest. I know people had purchased like 4-packs or whatever of the alcohol, which in bags and left, but I didn't see anybody drinking them. I don't know if you saw anybody.
I didn't. I mean, I was there. Same thing
So-
on the other side.
Is that the rule now, is that there cannot be an open container, but people
It's always been the
purchase?
rule. That you cannot, and they're selling it by the glass.
They are selling it by the
It's
glass.
a fenced in area and it's gonna be the same guidelines.
Mhm.
And they have to stay within that licensed area. They cannot leave. And if they do leave, we already told them we would not renew a license the following year. And last year, they did very well.
But it was
About
the year before that you had the problem.
The year before, and last year we told them at that meeting, if they violated it, that would be it. Yes,
Is
Dennis?
there an opportunity for the family to tell people? Because you and I had a conversation, somebody took a 4-pack of cans and was sitting in the library, upstairs at the library, listening to a program or a presentation and opened one of the cans. And nobody really did say anything, but I just wonder that open container issue, that, you know, once they leave, I know it's not on the one selling it, it's on the one buying it, but I don't know if there's a way of getting the word out, because some people had mentioned that to me.
I think we can. Providing they abide by the same rules and the regs, and we can send them that same copy and say the same thing, that if they have violations, it won't happen again. And I can personally go talk to them about it and make sure they have an understanding, and I'll personally hand them the rules and the regs.
Question.
Yes,
Now, they sold a 4-pack. Now, can they legally sell a 4-pack?
under a liquor license,
They can't for the festival license.
No, they can't.
So I don't think we know where the person got the.
I don't know where it comes
Well, I thought he bought it there at the four.
I know, but they're
I don't know.
supposed to only sell
from.
like
Glass containers.
poured
Well,
beer.
yeah, that's why I was
12
just
ounce.
asking,
Yeah,
because
right.
this is the first.
Yeah, I don't know
We don't know.
where it comes
We
from,
don't know.
so.
But since there's no store there, it had to come from somewhere.
Wherever they sell it.
Well, I guess,
Anyone could have.
They sell it everywhere,
Anyone
so.
could have out, and there is no open container. We don't have any municipal open
okay,
container
well, no, I was
laws.
just saying, did
It's
they,
under the state regs.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they bought it over there.
I guess not.
I don't know. I don't know. I did see a 4-pack going around, but I did not, like I said, I did not see anybody open one or anybody drinking one.
Is that something that you could put,
Absolutely. We can put it in the rules and regulations.
which it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just
Absolutely.
saying, if people have concern about the 4-pack,
Let's see their license.
we can just send them the language from the
Mhm.
state, which
Yep.
defines how they have to serve it, which is, it
Pull
has
off glass, right?
to be served as a drink that you consume on the premises.
On the premises. Yep.
It can't be like retail sales.
My impression is that from post experience last year and what's happening in between, they're very motivated to make it work. I mean, I don't think they're
No, they do it
setting up
in-
Right, right.
to
Nope,
try
nope,
and do
nope.
some nefarious thing.
In,
No.
I give kudos where kudos are deserved. They did a very good job last year of not having open containers walking around.
It was much better last year. It was,
Yeah.
wasn't so much, it was, they took care of the issues
They
that
took
we
care of
had
the
asked them to take.
They did the fencing that was required. They had a person at the entrance in and out, so and I'm right at that entrance, so. Kevin, go ahead.
So, I mean, why did they apply for a permit under the name Mount Holly Cider instead of Mount Holly Beer?
They must have a different LLC.
It's an LLC.
Right, I understand that, but then
Alyssa's
what's the reason why they're not using Mount, so are they only serving cider? Is that what it says, or?
No.
So we don't know if they're serving cider or beer.
No.
It's a-
Cider
it's a-
and beer are considered in the same
They're
category.
the
by the
same,
state.
they're the same thing.
Like wine and liquor are considered
Yes,
differently, but
yes.
cider and beer, yeah, same. That's Alyssa's.
She's like, yeah, Alyssa's the owner, so I assume that's,
Yes.
maybe it's coming with the store opening, I don't like,
I-
I can only
That ain't
go.
happening.
I can assure you it's not coming with a store, yeah.
And again, this license is
But I know
for,
that's part of the
this license is for the 2 days.
plan for the store.
And it's slated for 17 Church Street. And providing they get board approval from this, we need to make sure that understanding goes out in that same letter. That it's this premises only, same regulations as last year, but including no 4-pack sales or stuff. It's only consumable beer or cider at the premises.
Right, and there's a limitation too on the.
There is a
drinks.
limitation.
Probably one caveat, I don't know if we had hours in there last time, but on the permit, they probably just have to have a start and end date and it spans.
It looks like they can go all night,
Yeah, so we might, if we
all
just
day next
stipulate.
day.
Yeah.
We should probably just, so
Just
it's clear
clarify,
for,
so there's a
clarify
paper
it for
trail,
everybody. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So what
It would be,
are
the-
the hours?
it would be the start times, it's, I believe it's 10 to 4 on Saturday,
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
So it's the
and
same hours as the actual.
as the festival,
As the
and
festival.
that's it. So we'll make sure that's clarified within the license.
I mean, those of us who live nearby have concerns about
Nope,
this.
absolutely.
I just find it interesting that they are applying under this as Mount Holly Cider owned by Alyssa, when Mount Holly Beer owned by Dan is prohibited from him getting festival permits in various places because of his failure to follow the rules. So Dan is gonna be the one running this thing, we all know that.
And again,
But so, I think we should be doing a little more investigation to find out why it wasn't applied for under Mount Holly Beer, as opposed to this Mount Holly Cider, which really looks like it exists as a website, and that's it. I mean, that's like Kevin Plough made a mess farming in Rutland, so he comes down here and Patty Plough starts farming down here.
That didn't happen?
No, it didn't. But that would be the same example, you know, you get kicked out of someplace else, so you come down here, change your name, put your spouse in there. I understand what you're saying, Mark, that they did a good job last year, but
And I'm
I
not
find
even
it
going there.
interesting that they would do that.
And it would be no different than, you know, in the maple business,
Yeah.
Bruce Bascom has 3 or 4
Sure,
different
LLCs,
registered
right.
LLCs
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
promotes his product.
Right.
So,
Right.
yes, Bob.
I have a question about the physical location.
Yes.
What house is at 17 Church?
Doesn't tell us.
Mary Desitella.
Yeah, the White House.
Doesn't tell. It's the same one as it was at
Right on the
last year.
corner.
At last year. We can definitely reach out and ask that question on why. And we can vote on this with conditions.
I don't think we can reject it just because they.
Right. No,
like,
the state they can approve it anyways.
I don't think we can
So-
reject it because it's another business. Like,
Yes. No,
other
absolutely
than
not.
maybe it's another business and there could be some uncertainty on if it would occur the same way, but like, we can find that information.
Yeah, we can ask that.
I don't
So,
know how much it's gonna change.
you know, and
Decision.
you know, we did put the conditions on them with what they did last year. And that was a condition to continue the process. And they followed through on their end of the deal. So, and
Whose was the permit name in last year, Mount Holly Beer or Mount Holly Cider?
I don't remember. My memory isn't not that good.
You know, Alyssa, I just looked them both up on the Secretary of State site. They both are actually registered agent for both Mount Holly Beer and Mount Holly Cider is Alyssa Tilly. So,
So she owns them both.
well, she's their registered
She's the
agent.
registered
There could
agent.
be multiple members.
She might not actually own it.
Right,
She's
she
just-
just is the one that registered
Point
the
of
LLC.
contact. Right.
It's a registered
computer.
I have to
But
do
Mount
the
Holly
same thing.
Beer is registered for wholesale trade. And Mount Holly Cider isn't designated. It's not designated for a specific business, so.
So,
Maybe they chose it to brand in line with the event.
could be.
It would seem that way.
It would seem that way.
Could be.
Yeah, when you go on Google Map now, it says Mount Holly Cider on
Yep.
one of the homes.
Yeah,
So
could be.
So, after the discussion, is there a motion to approve?
You follow
If you guys wanna table it, I didn't, just looking at it, we could do it at the September select board meeting and that would still be enough time to get it through to the state. to get it approved. That's if you guys wanted to do that. I'm just throwing it out there.
We can do that, and we can also send them some regulations that.
See if they're gonna approve before we approve it.
Let's do that and send them the contingencies that we sent them last year as well.
Yeah.
And we'll put it on the September's
Plus your changes.
meeting.
Just so you, I mean, this is like probably a moot point, but like technically you guys don't have jurisdiction over
Correct.
this.
Correct.
So it's more of a courtesy that you're saying
If-
we would ask you to abide by the state laws. And that's what we did last time,
Yeah.
and that he would communicate yes.
Correct.
But technically, if
The
there's a
state will approve
violation,
it anyways.
the state will, well, the town clerk has to sign it. You
Yeah.
guys don't have to
Nope.
approve it.
Nope.
And I won't sign it unless. the
I
select
know,
board
I
signs it.
know. I'm just
I know.
saying, just in terms of enforcement, it would go through the state if there was a problem.
If there was a problem,
Yeah.
it would be filed with the state.
But I think
the
it's
state will overrule.
Good
And
to
this is
show
just,
you're watching.
this is
Yeah.
a good courtesy.
Yeah.
Make sure they
I'm just saying it more for the
Follow
public
the
record, so
same-
you guys know that
Yep.
in fact the select board.
So we'll send it out so they follow the same guidelines that we implemented
From
last year
Yeah.
with one other is no 4-pack sales are allowed because it's consumable only on the premises.
Then of course the time issue.
Timing, yep, I got
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just say you'll plan to make a decision at the
It's-
next meeting, yeah.
Yep. Which is coming up. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay. Moving on, select VLCT Town Fair 2024 representative.
I think David has volunteered his services.
Again,
Yes, but this year it's going to be held at Killington, so it's close by, so if one of you three wanted to go and be the representative,
think I
I
might.
give you the chance, but I'm gonna be there anyway.
I'm planning to attend with you, since it's nearby.
Is this a free meal and?
Yeah.
No.
Stuff like that. Not,
No, it's not
well,
free.
it is free overnight for me, cause I won a prize last year.
Are you gonna buy lunch?
Dennis, somehow I knew you would volunteer for anything free. All right. So you both are going.
Yeah, David can be the official representative.
Mm-hmm. And
That
you're
works for me.
you're secondary, right?
Sure.
All right.
Unofficial.
You're the tag.
Unofficial. So is there a motion to? I'll make a motion to accept David, providing we all know he said yes, to be the official VLCT town fair representative, with Liz a secondary representative.
I'll second.
The ayes?
Aye.
Aye. All right, discuss additional transfer station tasks.
Oh, that was, Ken, this is just revising this thing you guys talked about last time, which is, Ken would like to weed whack and, build shelves for the swap shop. And he thinks it will not take much time, but it's been so busy. He doesn't think he can do it while he's doing the attendance stuff.
Ken asked me, because it's hard to keep track of electronics throughout the day, if he could spend time to, after work, to go through the electronics and make sure that this stuff is put in the right boxes. I am all for it, because it's cheaper for him to do it than it is for me to spend 4 hours up there doing it.
And I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with the weed whacking and stuff.
Maybe we just give them like a extra time,
Yeah.
like to budget to work,
Allotment of time, I
Yeah.
don't, because I wanna make sure we're not exceeding.
or let them go for a month with this many hours, and we check
Yes.
in. We just discuss it next month.
Yeah.
And it's probably like a half an hour each day
Yeah.
after.
So if we did like 4 hours or 6
Yeah, and
hours.
he thought the weed whacking was like an hour.
Yeah, he's gonna, yeah.
And he
So
thought
why
the
don't we
shelves
just
were
say-
like an hour. Like he didn't think it was
Extra
a huge
6
amount.
hours.
No more than
No more.
six. No more than
Not to exceed.
Not to
Okay.
exceed 6 hours.
Okay.
Not to exceed.
Not
There
to
we go.
exceed.
Okay.
And thank you and thank him for his
Yes.
Yeah. Initiative.
Initiative.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also think I was down there just looking at maybe some of the signs, getting awesome graphics to get us
Redo it.
priced to redo some, just freshen them up.
And we probably, that's a good point.
Enlarge maybe?
We probably wanna make a
I
sign
think they can,
No
if we give them what.
no refrigeration
Yeah.
at all.
There's a couple new ones we need. We could do
Yes.
that, and then they have also said they need one at the C&D bin to say stickers required
Big lettering,
Big
because
lettering.
people just sneak it in and
see attendant, stick
Yeah.
yes, the attendant, yeah.
And that's, yes, they should see the attendant before putting it in.
Yeah. So maybe what?
Maybe you should just say see attendant before putting, not even,
Yes.
Yeah.
because I think that's how I've seen it others.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe what I'll do is go just take some pictures down there and ask Awesome Graphics. Like they probably have it on file if we got them.
Whatever
there.
extra ones, like the battery sign was laminated, get that, put
Yeah,
on.
and then just ask for a quote. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Okay.
proof.
That sounds,
Okay.
Are we not
Perfect.
supposed to take batteries?
batteries are supposed
Ninja
to
was
go
just like a special, I didn't read
Yeah.
the pamphlet because it was faded, so.
it's supposed to go in special container anyways, along
Yeah,
with,
we're really
along
not
with,
supposed to take them.
right.
Light bulbs,
Light
LED,
bulbs.
LEDs.
Yep.
Right,
That was the one that got found out.
right, that's what it's on here.
Yeah.
Do not
Warned
take
about.
light
Warned.
bills,
Warned about.
Regular incandescents are fine, but not
Not LED.
LEDs or like fluorescent or whatever. Okay, signs. Okay, I will handle that.
Does it say anything in there on batteries?
that's what I'm looking for.
We went through that. Jeff came in and we went through it on Monday, and we found a bunch of things that are outdated, which I marked up. So, we can redo the whole thing.
And from last, okay, hazardous waste. Batteries are considered hazardous
Yes,
waste.
especially like that.
Yeah.
So when we have the hazardous waste collection, that's when that should go.
Yeah,
Yep.
and people can always bring to Gleason too, if they wanna get rid of it earlier.
And I
Okay,
believe Staples will take them as well.
I think Home Depot might take certain ones too.
yeah, they do, some of them do. Okay, moving on to personnel policy update.
So you guys have, there's two things that are being done in practice, but they were just written a different way in the personnel policy. So this isn't actually a request to change what we're doing. It's a change to just describe what we're doing in here. So the two things are, we had written the kind of normal Department of Labor definition of overtime, which is anything in excess of 40 hours. But Clinton and David were saying that the way it has been done is that anything over 8 hours.
Within a day, yeah.
So we should just make this reflect what's actually being done if that's the policy you guys want to have. Just so that it's what we're doing matches what we say we're doing. So that was one. That's the overtime one. The other one is just about vacation accrual. What we have been doing is that the first year, no vacation. Then the person who, once they've hit their 1 year anniversary, they get their 5 days accrued over that year. It was written as that it's accrued from the first day of hire, but that's kind of misleading because you really don't get it until you've worked that first year. So that should be, so I adjusted it to reflect that. And then the other thing that is happening in practice is when it's the new year's rolling over, it's the fiscal year, not their anniversary date where they're getting their additional, which is much easier to calculate, especially for just 3 employees. But our personnel policy was saying that it's on the anniversary, which actually makes it much more difficult to manually calculate. So this is just updating to say, it doesn't change how anything's been done, but like Bovie and I were trying to figure out like, should we try to make it match the policy? And like the math was to prorate it to each person's individual date of hire anniversary was too complicated. So this just updates it to be what it actually has been. Nobody gets vacation until they hit a year, and then at the beginning of each fiscal year, they get whatever they've earned. So I didn't want to make them without you guys seeing what they were.
And the other thing I had was the comp time. The comp time should be done away with, and they should be paid out their overtime when it's accrued. And that's that. Because right now, comp time they use, you have to figure it out, your time and a half, and then they sometimes use it as vacation time or time off. And it shouldn't have that because they already have their vacation time plus their PTO. They should be paid out their comp time when they earn it. Or their overtime.
I know the guys aren't for it, and I'm not either, because it's nice, because if you're working 70 hours a week, you're not getting slammed by taxes, and a lot of times we'll use the comp time throughout the winter to take a day off if we're not busy. If you've been working,
Oh, what he's saying is
days
that
after days
it bumps
after
them
days.
into a different tax bracket.
And
So
we
they
only allow
suddenly are taxed,
They're only allowed 40 hours accrued
Right.
comp,
right?
so.
And it doesn't say it has to be used within a certain, I think it says,
Oh, it has to be used within the fiscal year.
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
Otherwise, it can be lost if then it's not paid out.
right. So what you're saying is like, because all of you guys are at a pay rate where you're right on the top
Well,
of.
no, it's
of-
not.
Anytime you work
that.
overtime,
It's
you're
just-
just-
If
Yeah.
you're working, if you're
But
working
the tax rate goes up a
over-
lot once you hit a certain.
basically any OT
salary.
time is just,
Yeah.
it's taxed at a different.
Yeah,
I mean, basically you're working for $4 an hour
Right.
versus
right.
what you really, I mean,
Yeah, it corrects for that.
But then on the other hand, you end up having that time you have to use, plus you accrue more vacation time that you can't use because you've already had to use that time too. So it just, there's,
Because the comp time disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's only if you've worked here for 20 years.
Yeah.
I will say it is a lot of different categories, and
There is.
a lot of companies are going the way where there's just like PTO, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just one thing, and you use it how you use it. I think in your guys' case, the OT is built into the job. I mean, it's hard to have that job without OT.
Well, I didn't see a hand, but
So,
yes, Dennis.
So, one of the incentives for people that are in a position like our town employees is when they have to do 70 hours because of a storm or a flood or whatever is going on, that they get to take that time a little later. And I know it's hard to keep track of, all the moving parts and stuff, but that's just one of the incentives when in the wintertime when they're sitting around because there's no snow for a week, and they could take a little personal time off and maybe get some things done or something they wanted to do. So I don't have a problem. I just know if you can handle it.
The only thing is like flood damage or whatever, you can't take it because that's reimbursed from FEMA.
Correct.
So you can't put
You
that
can't take the time?
You have to have the overtime.
They have to pay you that whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's more for just winter plowing.
Going back to the 40, is that, so we're saying 40, when they hit 40, they're getting OT? What's in this edit?
Anything over
is-
40 hours of comp time
Yeah.
has to
So
be
we're-
paid OT.
We're not doing the 8.
That's what.
So these edits, we need to decide. That's what I was trying to.
Because
They're all separate.
Because, yeah, so just starting with the OT, the way it's defined in the personnel policy is the way it's defined, like just by national labor standards, which is
So the
if
first-
you work more than 40 hours.
The first part we're changing, I think, or just asking, we're all good
Yeah.
with changing it to that, the first part, the
verbiage.
Yeah, because that lines up to the edit. That
Right.
you were, yep.
Yeah.
The second part, we just need to decide if we're editing
Yeah,
it.
because right now it says this, but then it's getting calculated differently for the weekly paychecks.
Yeah.
So it just, in case it ever came under question, the personnel
Yeah,
policy
clear,
should just
matches.
match. Yeah.
Right now, we do 8 and then OT. Right now, we do 8 and then OT.
No, right now it's 40.
And then OT.
I know.
Well, it actually was handled. No, it was calculated
It's
as
gotten changed.
yeah. It was.
What is
handled-
it? What is
a year
it
and a
current?
half, and it's I can't answer that.
It was processed different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we want to
don't know
do?
if
So we just
we're
got to
paying 8 or
decide.
40 after 40.
If they're doing over 40, they're getting overtime or using comp time, but it's reviewed and approved, and then I'm paying it out. So they're reporting whether it's comp time or overtime. I am not refereeing that at this point because
But just for the historical, like
Yeah.
David, you were paying when you were treasurer, when you were doing payroll. If someone had worked a 10-hour day or a 15-hour day, the additional hours over 8 hours were paid at time and a half, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It usually works
Say we
out
keep
to
it
be
that way.
the same.
Eight.
Let's say somebody worked an hour of overtime, they might take an hour and a half
Right.
off.
Yeah.
In their mind, it seemed to be like, we want to have a 40-hour paycheck, for
Right.
sure.
Right.
So,
Right. But the reason that it's not usually done that way, just, I know this is like very finicky math, but it's that someone who works, let's say, one 15-hour day, but then doesn't end up working
Friday.
they're going to get paid differently than the person who worked, let's say, 5 hours over.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
You get your 32 hours and then you get your 8 hours or
Right.
whatever of overtime.
So it's not
basically
equal among
employees.
employees.
It figures out to be about the same as.
Yeah, or a week where there's snow and they work 40, but they did 24 hours.
Right.
they're gonna get more.
I've
They
never
did
had a
24
job where
and
you
then
got
did a
overtime after 8
16
hours.
hours.
It's always been 40 hours, always. Many jobs, always 40 hours.
That is the standard.
It's the standard.
But, yeah.
And
I mean, that's what we've been doing this past year, so.
what, after 40?
Yeah.
No,
Not the whole year.
not the whole year. There were some pay periods. It was inconsistent, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Depends on the companies, Kevin.
I think public is probably more 8 and then OT. Private is probably more 40.
Correct.
That's from what I've seen from job descriptions.
I believe Shrewsbury is overtime after 8, I believe.
I think public
And most
is
union,
more
like
frequently.
bigger towns are union highway, and it's 8 and then OT.
Right. So I'm okay with that up there. So
This one you could change either way. I just highlighted this
Mhm.
second one so that if you, this is just what it says now.
Just a little bit of crazy thought. If they do comp time when it's, and we go with 8 and OT, do we have to have some disclaimer that it's comp time at 1-to-1 ratio?
Oh,
It can't be.
No, because they're doing their overtime into comp.
So it'd be 1.5 times.
Be 1.5.
There's always
Okay.
1.5.
But max at 40, so they're gonna max at 40.
So it ain't gonna
pretty
matter.
quick.
We're
Yeah,
maxing that out at 40 hours.
Okay.
So
All right.
so
I'm fine with 8 and then OT. Just because it's, we're in the public sector and that's. from
so
my
is there a
knowledge.
motion?
I'll make a motion. Like the debate is like,
You're currently and historically have been paying over 8 hours.
yeah. So I make a motion.
It's really just to say
I'll make a
you
motion
want that in
to
here.
change the person.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to change the personnel policy as edited with regard to the 5 days of vacation and anniversary starting accrual.
Yeah.
And then I'll make a motion for section 28 overtime and compensatory time off that it's 8 hours and then OT at time and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
To what's being paid out today. So is there a second?
I'm gonna second the first part. And second the second.
So we need 2 motions then.
Well, you just made 2 motions.
Okay.
Made a motion
alright,
for
yeah.
one and then you said.
I did.
I'll make a motion or second the second one.
Okay.
The ayes for both motions.
I for the first.
Aye. So I said them for both.
Okay.
No for the second.
And I think we just gotta remind ourselves that we have a road crew that we have to make sure that we treat
Absolutely.
comparably to other road crews, and
Absolutely.
that's the basis. Like we're not just dealing with tax money, but we also need to maintain the road crew. And I think we have a good bunch of people at this point, albeit working through difficulties like any team, but yeah.
Okay, moving on to adopt the 250th anniversary resolution. Dennis.
So a couple of years ago, nationally, they asked states to start planning for and setting up 250th anniversary commissions. And Vermont did, and friends of mine are on the commission and stuff. And the letter came, and it was a little late because I guess there was a little mix-up. So we got the letter and we got the resolution, and the wording of the resolution, I think, is there for you to see. And the last sentence that includes funding, I think it said optional. So I think, Caitlin, we agree that the last sentence that talks about some optional funding. Nobody's looking for funding. So the gist was that we create something, because 25 towns have already created a committee within their town, and I spoke to the museum board the other night about this, that we know the information coming from the state over the next 3 years for the 25, 26, and 27 doesn't have to come from you and from the select board administrative assistant. It could just come from the museum board, if that your mind to. That's what I'm asking you to do. That information, we're gonna get state guidance, and we're just gonna use the chit chat and the newsflash to get information out. So there's not much going on in 2025. Nationally, and even Mount Holly will be doing something special in 2026 for the 250th of the country. And Vermont's 2027 is even bigger for us because that's the year they adopted declared their independence and adopted a constitution, even though we didn't become a state until 14 years later, in 1791. So if you guys want to look at that, or if people want to discuss it, it really just doesn't put us in line for anything. And I said most towns are probably not going to do the last sentence there, that the optional funding to go with stuff. And will we be if we're the go-between with the state and stuff on information, they may let us advertise selling some state stuff, like we sell our t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. But,
Thank you for volunteering, Dennis.
well, this is how I got appointed in 1989 for the town's bicentennial commission chair. And we were 3 years of workshops in planning our state and our town. They were consecutive years, so that made it
Yes, I was part of that committee.
kind of nice. But I don't know if you've got any other questions, but
Is there any questions for Dennis?
Oh, yeah. Break out the truck.
You're limited to one, Steve.
All right. No, it's just a comment. It's not limited to the museum board. Carol can be on anytime she wants. Or anybody, and Caitlin, or anybody else. It's not limited to the museum board because he seems to have volunteered us.
Anything else? Thank you. We're gonna move on to road sign policy.
well, did you adopt the resolution? I didn't hear the vote or anything.
You know, it's you, Dennis.
Do you have the draft?
Don't you have to draft it so we can look at it?
No, it's there.
We don't have it.
I don't
in our
have it.
packet.
Well, I didn't bring a copy.
No.
Caitlin,
Don't you need the
do
resolution
you want
first?
to
That's your
read that
recreation.
short resolution?
No,
Isn't it only 5 or 6 sentences? And
Or no, hold on.
I'm sorry, I thought they had it in front of them.
No,
Actually,
they didn't.
Caitlin,
Sorry, that was.
maybe four.
Probably not. It's hot.
Is it hot in here?
Unlocked.
I'm gonna pass out.
Are you checking to see if Parker's still there? You're gonna drive away or
A
what?
lot of hot air in there. Yes, you can open it.
I left the keys in my truck. You'll probably take that, right? Yeah.
All right, here it is.
There's a big rock
I was gonna
out
say, I
there.
didn't get it, so. Did
Too
you
late, I
email
already
the resolution?
I don't have it.
I didn't have it, I
No,
looked.
no, you didn't. I
I'm
didn't.
sorry, I thought you gave it to them.
I didn't
I
realize
just-
you wanted them to approve the resolution
Well,
now.
adopt, it says adopt the resolution right
Can't
here. in
adopt
the-
something we don't see.
in the
Dennis, can you
agenda.
read
says
it,
adopt.
please?
Read
I
it.
don't think he has it in front of him. I got it. Hold on.
Oh, you.
No, I don't. I didn't print it. I thought you were going, oh, wow.
So you came
Oh,
here
boy.
unprepared.
It
It's
says
not.
adopt resolution.
You came here unprepared, Dennis.
Okay, it's a resolution. I'll just read it quickly. Vermont 250th Anniversary Resolution. A resolution of the Town of Mount Holly, State of Vermont, supporting the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission. Whereas Vermont Governor Phil Scott signed an executive order to create the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission on December 15th, 2020, to plan, encourage, develop, coordinate, and promote observances and activities to be held in Vermont in commemoration of the historic events associated with the 250th anniversary of the 1776 signing of the Declaration of Independence, and the founding of Vermont in 1777, and the creation of the political foundations of the United States of America. Whereas the Commission hopes to engage all 252 cities and towns through their many programs, projects, and events over the next several years. Whereas by adoption of the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission, we hope to inspire Vermonters to learn from the history, legacy, and context of the past to build stronger communities. Resolved, the Town of Mount Holly officially establishes a liaison or local committee made up of a diverse group of citizens or individuals to work with the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission on any or all activities. These are voluntary roles, and there will be no compensation for participation. Resolved, that the Town of Mount Holly may provide funding for planning or implementation of related commemorations in their community as available. Resolved, that a copy of this resolution will be sent to the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission. That's it.
And to be signed by 3 select board members.
Paul,
I want to ask Dennis, does this mean that people from New York are gonna have to pay for it?
No, what this means is the $30,000 that we gave to New York to become the 14th state, we get it back with interest, compounded, and what did the figure come to, Caitlin?
Oh yeah, I remember
2, 3,
that.
$4 million?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, from New York?
30,000 back, yeah.
is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution as read for the 250th anniversary resolution.
I'll second.
Aye.
Just shut me up.
There is a condition that you own it all.
That's what happened in 1989. They said, you take it? Or
So
we're
the
not
ayes
doing
have it, so.
Can I get
Okay.
a private fireworks permit for that event?
Oh, boy.
Talk to the fire.
Talk to the fire department and take it up with the state.
And it has to be
So-
done within 15 days prior.
Yes. So now we're gonna move on to road sign policy.
This was just in regards to, we do not have a policy around private road signs. Does the select board want to create a policy specifying what it will do if a private road sign is damaged or stolen? And the current practice is to provide the initial sign, but
Yes,
there is no formal policy around what happens after.
yes, we can adopt one, have one created, have one generated. We will provide the first sign. Any sign therefore will be provided by the individual or individuals on the private road. Mine disappeared.
Right. Who wouldn't want to live on Paradise Lane, right?
They tried to take Stanley Lane.
I'll sell it to you.
Stanley Lane, I guess.
Are you sure? It's probably gonna come up.
Just be careful when you take pictures that it doesn't show up in the background.
Huh?
Don't post pictures online with signs in the background, is what she's saying. I think.
Oh.
Where you have them in your
The
house.
stolen
Yeah,
sign.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
oh, yeah, where they're on your game room wall? Is that-
Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
Well,
Or sit in front of Zoom.
we did find ours after time. One of the residents on the road liberated it from the town, sold out, moved, and had it in the garbage pile to get thrown away. And, you know, we resurrected it and gave it back to the town.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I like how the Mount Holly Shrewsbury sign has disappeared on Russellville Road. They won't even replace that anymore. It just disappears once a summer anyway.
But was there not too long ago?
Yeah, it
right,
was.
I think it's gone now again, yeah.
I didn't look. I haven't been on that road because it's not sugaring, so.
Right, right, right.
If you wanna make money, sell Yale signs when the kids are up here.
All right, that's for you to sign later. Okay, I don't think there's anything special you guys need to do for a policy, right? You
No,
just
I think we need to draft one, then
Yeah.
we can adopt it.
Okay,
Okay, so that's,
I will do that for next time.
please, thank you. Okay, moving on to ongoing and old business. So, municipal planning grant.
So I asked for this one to get, this is the housing grant, or potential housing study grant. No one expressed interest in stepping forward to join a committee. I can't do it, at this time, so I was proposing, we haven't received any money for it,
So no one
and there's
would.
been no work done.
Yeah, I don't have time
And
either.
there's-
No.
Like in terms of priorities, it's
Yeah,
kind of towards the bottom, way to the bottom.
so I, at this point, rather than let it drag on and have the state come to us, I thought it would be better for us to go to the state and just tell them that we can't proceed with this.
Yeah, I'll make a motion so we can
I don't know if we
reach out.
Rather, yeah. I mean, I have no problem with it either. Just
I'm
Hey,
sorry, we
decide.
can't
do we
do it.
table? Do we just reach out to the state, verify, and then make the motion next meeting?
Yes.
Just
Okay, we can do that.
Just to see what the steps are.
To see what they say.
Yeah. and
Maybe they'll say,
Maybe
oh,
put it
there's
in,
an
make sure it's on the
extension.
minutes.
Yeah,
Thank
maybe-
you.
Well, I was gonna say,
maybe-
is it better to ask for an extension
Maybe,
than to,
maybe,
I don't have any.
maybe,
yeah?
and they
I've
may
had
not
it on my
allow
to-do
one.
list for so long now.
Are you
I-
less
so-
likely to
They-
get the grant the next time if you like didn't?
Possibly,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I mean, and that's, yes.
that's usually the case.
So
Yes,
maybe
but
we can
it's-
get an extension.
Essentially, maybe we
No.
can change the topic too, or like just buy more time. Like, it's not going to cost us anything to pause it or
Right. See if they
what our
allow
options
it,
are.
see what the options
And
are.
then if somebody steps forward with a whole bunch of
Mhm.
time that's willing to help, then we might.
So we can say this is another call to step forward, or else
Yeah.
it's on the chopping
So we can
block.
just make sure it's in the minutes clearly, like board is considering
Yeah,
foregoing the grant.
okay,
Decision to be made at the next meeting,
okay.
and we'll contact
That's
them.
Yeah, and contact state to determine potential next steps.
okay. Moving to Homeland Security Grant, generator bids, purchase and installation.
Yeah, I think we just put that on as a reminder for myself. I do have pricing for the generators, but was trying to get pricing for the electrician and putting the generator, hooking it up to this building. So I'm still in that phase of trying to get an RFP together for that electrician or finding like 3 prices.
Yep.
So
Do you have the info on the generator already?
I have the cut sheet for the generator.
I'd be happy to help with that.
Okay.
If you have the cut sheet, then that's a.
I'll forward it to you.
Could I ask, where
We
are
have to
the
get that
generators
generator
going? Here,
It's a portable generator on trailer, so it can be mounted in multiple spots. We're gonna hook it up, have at least provide one hookup, I think, as part of the grant. Well, depending how much money is left on the grant.
well, I know there's emergency management shelters around, and I didn't know if do those buildings need to have something to access this or to plug in?
They need a plug, yeah, a plug. And that's like what we're gonna figure out for here, get the plug, and then I think once we have that established, it's pretty much the same plug in
Transfer
different buildings.
switch, right?
Yeah, or even, some kind of way to transfer it and then
Yes.
plug,
Yeah.
It's probably, I would imagine, $2,000 to $3,000 by the time they buy the electric.
Anyways.
Boxes.
So for the school and for the hall or something, whatever it's designated.
I don't think the
Needs some kind of a
school's
plug.
School's not.
Well, the school's
No, we
not.
can't, that's where we got hung up, is we can't do it everywhere that you could use it, because it's too costly, and they won't provide additional funding
Okay.
towards that, so we had to
Under
pick
this
a place under this grant.
We got a grant for generator, we gotta figure out the connections.
We got the
But we
generator.
gotta get the
coming,
generator
paid
coming,
for.
because otherwise we'll have to give it another case of giving money back, so.
I know we've been
Simplest thing is
talking-
just to get the connection here.
Yeah.
And then we at least have a place to actually use it.
We've been talking about this for a while, so thank you.
Okay. One other thing that I'd like to talk is I'd like to have the junk ordinance posted. Maybe on a news flash, maybe in the chit chat, so people see what the new ordinance is and the policies related to it are. Because I am getting calls on people's collection, and I try to get out and look at what people is considering collections. I do know one that they are cleaning up over near 155. So
Across the road. It moved a lot across the road.
So there is work going on there. So I gotta go physically get some other addresses or go look at some other addresses to move forward. But I'd like to see that ordinance get posted out there so people can see it. Some people probably don't know what the new ordinance is. All right.
I'm under the impression a lot of the people that it applies to do not get the news flash or read the chit chat.
Potentially, and I might make some copies up and put them in mailboxes if I have to, I guess. So.
You can't do that.
No, right. You can mail it, but you can't put it in there, right? Yeah.
I won't put it in. I'll put a Post-it note. Okay.
Don't get caught.
Doing what?
Anything, you just.
Touching a mailbox, touching a mailbox.
That's in mailbox.
I didn't touch it.
Special delivery.
So
You could have it mailed.
I can have it mailed. So, anyways,
Stamps on it.
we'll.
Put it on their door.
There's more to come from that because, people are calling me and I'm telling them to send official letters into the select board. So And I don't know if we've gotten any. So moving,
No.
none. So moving on. Citizens' concerns, comments.
You knew it, right?
You're on Dennis's list.
Well, I'm
Yes,
competing
Steve.
with them.
Yes, Steve.
Well, the museum is just starting doing for the blacksmith shop. We need to do a lot of work on it, and we're gonna start doing grant writing and fundraising. And I'm pretty 99% sure there's no ARPA funds left, so we can't try to get them.
You
But-
could make that 100.
Huh? Okay, make that 100.
We can't use it for paving, so
Right.
yeah.
But just give you a heads up that that's what we're gonna do, but we've also asked for, not our property, but the dam that collapsed down the road from us. I don't know where that stands.
It's on private property, right?
I have no idea, and the state tends to own all the water.
They don't own the property. So it's on private property. It, I believe, would be up to the property owner.
We just don't have the resources to chase
Correct.
grants. And we can't chase the grants we have.
Own the blacksmith shop?
Huh?
Does the town own the blacksmith shop?
The museum.
Not that I'm aware of,
The
no.
museum does.
Museum does.
Oh, alright, so that's not gonna be.
But that dam is not on the museum's property.
It's on somebody else's, correct?
It's across from what was the Kelly's house by the cement abutment there.
I don't know who owns the property.
No
The young
idea.
couple that's trying to sell it.
You can look up the parcel map.
So
The town's on it.
it's
We're
not
on a
called
volunteer basis, and we don't have time.
Hayes is just
No, it's-
beyond it.
Yeah, the town. It's not a town.
Right.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it like this, but it's not a town issue.
Would we be in support of it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like
Absolutely.
letters of support, so forth.
Absolutely.
So the state has made it clear that they want the rivers cleaned up and these cement things, one's down and one's up. That I'm sure we can work with the state and maybe the state will pay for getting those hunks of concrete out of there.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Because
it's just
they
a matter
want this.
It's just a matter of time and effort put into contact. I mean, you contact the right person at the state and you can get pretty far. It's just,
And you have connections, Dennis. You
Fighting
tell me that
elections.
all the time.
The erosion behind the blacksmith shop is not helping our blacksmith shop museum issue either. That's part of it. But yeah, if we could get the cement out of there.
So reach out to Anna.
Yeah.
So I'm
I didn't think you guys would have a problem.
Josh Carroll,
Josh.
49066.
Any other concerns, comments?
460 what?
49066.
Okay, we're going to go green up coordinator still needed. So we're reaching out still for somebody to volunteer or be appointed as the green up coordinator that is needed. So if anybody's interested, please volunteer.
I'll nominate Steve.
So
I nominate the Conservation Commission.
Can we send that to the school when the school opens next week? That
Yeah.
seems like
No,
it could be a
absolutely.
potential good kid parent.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely, we can do that.
I think it
It's
would
a
fit well in with the
non-mandatory,
Conservation.
Looking for somebody. So, and we're still,
Good idea.
we're still looking for a transfer station attendant. So put the word out, if anybody's interested, put an application in, please. Executive session title 1, yes, Carol?
Before that, I just want to remind everyone, the town office is closed for Labor Day.
Labor Day is a working day.
That's a Monday.
Right, labor.
You do labor on that day. You get extra early.
September 2nd.
So Labor Day, the office is closed, town office.
September 2nd.
So, executive session, Title 1, VSA 313A3, personnel, employee reviews. I think I need a quick executive session, so I'm gonna make a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second? The ayes? Aye. This will be quick. Good night.
Should open that door.
That's your baby.